The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
Hello, everyone. You're welcome to Leadership Podcast. It is yet another edition of The Big Issue. And of course, I hope you had a very wonderful weekend. And without taking much of your time, we're going to go into the big issue of the day, which is the military turning the heat on terrorists, bandits, and gunmen, unleashing terror on innocent Nigerians in the country. And of course, with me to really interrogate this very big issue of the day are our in-house analysts. As usual, we have Paul Abo, Judge. And of course, to my right is David Tucker, a security expert, to say. Well, the latest offensive against the bandits and terrorists in the northeast and the northwest has been making remarkable progress. Hundreds of the criminals have been killed through area bombardments, and some of those running away are being mopped up by the ground forces. The troops of the Nigerian army have become like cannons overcharged with double cracks, culminating in the success recorded so far in the war against terror. And of course, internal fighting has led to the death of the leader of the Boko Haram sect, Ibrahim Shekau. And of course, of recent, there were reports that the leader of ISWAP, Musab Al-Barnawi, has also been reportedly killed in a revenge attack. And this, some Nigerians say, are very positive developments that are bound to create traction in the fight against the terrorists. And of course, they are urging the troops to seize the opportunity to go for the kill, which is to eliminate the entire terror groups in the country. Although the heat is on and the terrorists and bandits are in disarray, some other Nigerians are of the opinion that the tipping point in the battle against them is yet to arrive. And of course, that is what we are looking at today. You see, recently, it was the chief of defense staff who came out, Taka, to say that ISWAP leader has been killed. And recently, they say his successor too has been killed. Is this something Nigerians should glory about? Or is one of those kind of many deaths of the terror leaders without degrading the terrorist ranks as it is?
Well, I see it as one of the many deaths. That's number one. Number two, killing just the fighter without killing the ideology can never end the war. So we need to the military has to really sit down with the political class and bring a political solution to these issues. It's not just political. When we talk about political, okay, we are talking about political solution. I think we need a sociological aspect to this whole issue. It's an all-encompassing societal issue. There are lots of people out there for them to always easily just conscript. They can easily just recruit this guy. So whether you kill one today, they recruit 100
the next day.
Because you've allowed a chunk of your population unattended to. So there's a lot of room.
Despite the chunk of population in Dhaka, you can imagine, whenever the head of any organization is killed, the group scatters.
Just like the military.
In most cases, it marks the end of the group.
Just like the military. Once they have hierarchy. Once you step out of the shoe, another person steps in. So of course, they must have had a new person. I'm not saying the military has not made any efforts. They have. But is that what Nigerians want to hear? No. Nigerians want to see results. Nigerians want to see peace.
That the war against terror has been finally.
Of course, we know it cannot be ended with just the gun. Like the NSA said, it's just kinetic approach, which is the nozzle of the gun alone will not end this. That's why I'm talking about the political and the sociological aspect of this solution to this issue. It has to do with all aspects of the society. You know, when you look at the out of school children in the north, you look at the kind of population that has been there waiting for anybody to come and use. If the government is not ready to use, non-state actors will always take advantage of such idle youths. So that's just one of the biggest challenge that we need to also look at. I'm saying this to call their attention to it. It's not just killing the person. When you kill this person, have you killed the idea behind this whole thing? No. The answer is no. So without killing the idea, you've not done anything.
Well, you have a point there, Taka. Bob, you see what we saw, the latest onslaught, the way the military have been going about the attacks. The military, the troops, the soldiers have become a cannons overcharged with double cracks. The way they are taking down on the terror groups. Why was it so difficult for them to do that in the past? And what has really changed? I think something new is actually happening in the military formation.
Yes, Judge. A lot of things are happening in the military. What I noticed these days is that they talk less and work more. Somebody said in the past that talk is cheap, and in Nigeria, talk is cheapest. The military in the past joined in the fray of talking cheap and exposing their tactics. There's a way you analyze your operation. Your enemies will know the direction you are heading to. I discovered that under the new leadership of the Nigerian military, they talk less and act more. And it's like they begin to weed themselves off the bad eggs among them. Informants. Because they say information is power. And without information, we are powerless. When you begin to disseminate information, sensitive intelligence information out to your perceived enemies, and then your operations will continue to be jeopardized. How come the Nigerian military were ambushed in the past so cheaply, killed like chickens? At a point, you start asking yourself, is it a so-called Nigerian army that was once revered in Africa, that terrorists are killing? Some are even running. It's because information we have been divulged. Saboteurs. It is as though the military had purged itself of these elements within their ranks. And that is why you can see these successes.
In other words, Paul, I think you
Yes.
said something there that I will just, let's be very specific about it. You said with the coming of the new leadership,
Yes.
that means what you're trying to say is that even the change of security chiefs or service chiefs by President Muhammadu Buhari is also a factor
Yes.
that is even
It is a
contributing
factor,
to.
and it's like the new leadership of the Nigerian military have looked at, they sat down and analyzed the whole situation. Why successful military chiefs have not been succeeding in the fight against terrorism, bandits, and all manner of insurrection against the Nigerian state. Leakage of information. So I attribute these successes to the ability of the Nigerian military not to talk too much and act. So they are taking the terrorists and all manner of non-state actors by surprise, and which is good. And I must commend the leadership for that success. It's a moral booster. We must give the credit to them.
Well, Taka, the world has moved to technology and artificial intelligence warfare. But in Nigeria, it seems that our military are finding it difficult to adopt technology to deal with insurgency and banditry. Because you see, technology I think helps when it comes to intelligence gathering.
They are not just finding it difficult. I think they lack technological know-how. I don't think we have even the kind of technology that we require. Now, Nigeria is said to have a space. We say we have satellites. But you know, when there was a time earlier there was a March, the military aircraft disappeared and has not been found while operating in the northeast. If we have a satellite, I think the satellite images, which we reveal, should be able to tell us where the aircraft went. Now, each time you hear of adoption, it takes more than 24 hours. That means that technology is not there. If we have it, it won't take us that long to deploy and actually be able to say, okay, from our operational center, tell the troops on ground, give them the coordinate, this is where the people are, this is what they are carrying, this is what it is. But, we are a developing nation. Look at the military budget. You realize what is even budgeted for those things is quite low. So you know that one is also another issue. So do they have those things here? The answer is no. Do we have most of the companies? How many of those things are produced locally? We need to budget and procure them abroad. And you see the Super Tucano came with a full package. The US is coming here to maintain the aircraft for us. After training, they are now here to provide the parts, to elongate the lifespan of those aircraft. So it's a whole lot of challenge. So the technology, I don't think they have it. I'm not an insider, but as an observer who covers them, the DICOM was established. DICOM is more than 60 years now. DICOM was established the same time with the DICOM of Brazil. Who manufactures the Super Tucano.
Independent Nigeria.
But DICOM, I think the what I saw, they produce ballistic vest, not missiles, vest. When other world people are testing ballistic missiles
yes.
from the sea, we are trying to provide ballistic vest, which is not even how many do we even have? When you see our military going out to operations, they are not fully kitted. Most of them go out without the proper kits that they need. That's to tell you that if we can lack the basics, that technology that we need to fight those guys, we don't have it, and we need to get those things because we're in the 21st century.
Well, before we look at other issues pertaining to this, I think we just have to take a short break. But before we do that, we urge you, our listener, to contribute in shaping the conversation on the big issue by your way of comment. And it's expected as we're back from this short break, your comments will begin to trickle in. Don't go offline. We'll be back in a moment.
The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
Welcome back. We are still on the big issue in Leadership Podcast. And of course, the big issue of the day is as military turns the heat on terrorists, bandits, and gunmen. Yes, Abu, you heard what Taka just said now. He said, what did he even say? That the DICOM, Nigeria's own satellite, would have drive the intelligence gathering and in terms of accuracy to show where the kidnappers, bandits are at a particular spot. And he said, this is the reason why for more than 24 hours, it's always difficult for the military and other security agencies to deploy. But beyond that, most Nigerians are saying that there are also several intelligence agencies of government. And of course, even the service chiefs have intelligence units. But why is it so difficult to predict the actions of the enemies? You just said something here that sometimes they take our troops unaware and push them.
Yes.
This is as a result, despite the several intelligence units we have, and the intelligence unit agencies, and the intelligence unit of even the service chief.
It's a flaw on our security architecture that we've not been able to the past to predict some of these insurgents attack or bandit attack against non-state actors. It's unfortunate. But these are areas that we need to improve in our quest to secure the nation. Our ability to foresee, at least to a certain degree, the actions and inactions of our perceived enemies. Yes, it's unfortunate that the issue of our local manufacturing of weapons, hardware, military hardware especially, and our only defense industries corporation of Nigeria, DICOM, has been in common for years, and it's unfortunate. Our peers, Brazil and others, have gone far. In fact, some of them are even exporting now. I think recently the president gave a marching order to DICOM to start manufacturing immediately certain hardware for the Nigerian military.
And even Ted Fund had said that it was going to
yes.
I think, what did they say?
That
they are going to collaborate with the military in terms of research and development.
You know, those of us who were born and brought up in Kaduna, we used to know DICOM as one company that manufactures furniture. You see? Yes.
Furniture.
Yes, I grew up in Kapuri, where DICOM is.
You didn't even say Dingo.
Not Dingo. We know DICOM as a place where they produce furniture. So it was later in life that we got to understand that DICOM was set up to manufacture military hardware, AK-47, AK-49, bullets, and the rest. And many countries have gone beyond this, all these things were mentioned, to sensitive military hardware that their operations are highly based on sensors. We need to invest. The bottom line is that our government needs to invest in military hardware in order to be one step or two step or three steps ahead of these non-state actors. Because the non-state actors, and one thing again that we need to also do, which the Nigerian state, for me, have been failing. The sources who have been defeating some ISWAP, Boko Haram, bandits, unknown gunmen, and known gunmen, and we have been seizing their hardware. These hardwares are all numbered. We can trace where they are being manufactured. At that diplomatic level, the Nigerian state should engage these countries where these weapons are manufactured. Although they will say they all came from as a result of the instability in Libya, Sudan, Middle East, Syria, and so forth. We should engage, the Nigerian government should engage the manufacturing countries. We should try to deploy our intelligence hardware to know where these people are getting their weapons from. Because these weapons don't just appear here. And these non-state actors don't manufacture these weapons in Nigeria.
There's a black market for
yes. We should find a way of blocking this black market. We should ask countries like Israel,
yes,
how they be able to tackle terrorism.
It calls for worry, because you can imagine when even the terrorists are well armed and even armed troops.
We should ask states who have succeeded in reducing acts of terrorism.
I think they are trying. The military is trying to collaborate with countries like Pakistan and all these ones that have experienced things and forced to.
So we should find out. But we can exchange this.
You were talking about intelligence. Yes. I think intelligence failure is not that of the military. We have agencies.
It's a whole gamut.
Basically, it's the purpose of gathering.
It's a whole gamut.
So I think it's the failure of those. They need to account to Nigerians. What are they doing with the budget? Because we have National Intelligence
Agency.
We have the
DSS, the Defense Intelligence.
There are many. What are they doing? The essence is for them to gather intelligence, process,
Yes.
and pass it to the military for action. So for the military, they are supposed to be in the barracks. They are not supposed to even be interacting with us. But we've made, because the police has failed to provide that civil society, they are now deployed almost every. That's why you have clashes everywhere. They are not trained for some of these operations. They're only trying to learn how to. That military is supposed to be for external aggression, but now they are now carrying out internal
involved in internal
operations.
Security.
So that definitely have all these
You recall
issues.
when you were still a title editor, we did a story on how UN report about 300 million small arms in the hands of people in Nigeria.
Nigerians.
Yes.
I remember that
vividly. I even did that report recently. Because there's even 350 now.
Okay. As at that time,
350,000
million. Yes, small arms in circulation.
And of these weapons,
we will not be able to
about
work those
70%.
350 million. What
And
is the
the hands of
population of
most
Nigeria?
actors.
Nigerian population is just about 200
You
million.
have stockpiled them.
350.
So we need to mop up
We
these
don't have
arms.
such a. I don't have. I'm not sure.
People have stockpiled them. Yeah, there.
If you want to know that there are arms in the hands of Nigerian, let violence go in an election. You'll be shocked.
The kind of weapons that will come out
Weapons that will
from
come out.
non-state actors.
Non-state actors. So the Nigerian government should do her best to mop up these arms and block its importation into Nigeria. That is the only way we can.
I think the president is making efforts to do that. The Office of National Security Advisor has created a center saddled with this responsibility to mop up these arms. The National Center for the Control of Arms and Small Weapons. So there's a center for that to control these light arms and all this. But beyond, okay, how convincing if you cannot guarantee the security of my family, and I now go extra miles to have a weapon to protect my family from another non-state actor.
You will not hesitate.
How would you now expect me to turn it in? So I think the government needs to convince Nigerians that the essence of government is for us to protect you. But first of all, you need to convince us that you are there to protect us. Otherwise, I don't think the center will succeed.
Well, let's look at the Super Tucano jets that were flown recently from the United States to Nigeria, have been applauded as a game changer in the fight against insurgency. But it is constantly said that only the weapons cannot end insurgency in the country.
Yes.
What should be the focus of state actors at the moment?
We'll buy more, George. Besides Super Tucano, we need to buy drones, and we need to buy more. We need to invest in that military hardware, super technology, in tracking down the whereabouts of these non-state actors. We can defeat them. The Nigerian state has the capability to defend the Nigerian state. So it is not, we need to buy more. If there's more money, we'll buy more Super Tucanos, we'll buy more drones, especially the drones. The drones will help us to track the whereabouts, especially what the attacker said, that 24 hours. We should be able to know the location.
Even before
we have children
in a couple of minutes.
We have children in the hands of
for days,
kidnappers for months, and we can't track them.
Days, weeks, months.
And we're here. Americans came and picked
rescued their own.
One person,
and they sent how many? Just 6.
So we can
in a sting operation that even most of all the
citizens
in the country were not.
I have said it on this program before that the government need to cut down some of this money they spend on agencies that are not adding value. Push this money to the military, to education, to health. We should be bold enough. We need to invest more. If we don't invest in security, we cannot enjoy peace. We need to buy more Super Tucanos. We need to buy more high-tech equipment, both on air, on land, and in the sea. We need to buy more equipment. That is the solution. And 21st century military hardware, laser guided. There's nothing to hide about it. We just need to invest more. That is the only way we can defeat these non-state actors.
Well, that reminds me.
You can't be using AK-47 to fight when people have gone beyond that. Some other clients, AK-47 are just training weapons for training. We should go to AK-49, 50, 52 or so, and above.
The latest editions.
Well,
when you talk about how do we go about it, of course, it is the state that should show that force that you are able.
Yes.
If it continues to degenerate, that means we're heading towards a failed state.
Yes.
That means the government at the center has failed to hold its fabrics together. So it is to invest more, have that power to overpower anybody. That military might, we need to display it.
Yes.
We're not fighting another state. This is an internal issue. But we need to overpower the enemy within. Bring them to their knees before
fail to tackle insurrection. Now, more groups
will rise.
Yes. Look at what is happening. We have not finished discussing the Kaba prison break. There's another one. Oyo. And people go this
they are being emboldened as we speak.
There are hidden high-profile criminals in jails in Nigeria, and their supporters and followers are also planning because some of these places are vulnerable.
They now feel
look at what happened in Israel. There was a similar prison break, but it took Israel how many days? They captured everybody, all of them back.
And how long does it take us? And you think they just did it with the human? No. They use technology. So the world has advanced.
Even our prisons need to be improved. Anything that has to do with national security, we need to invest most of this because the implication now is that if you don't have a secure nation, I can assure you that investors will keep on running away.
Of course, in the country.
You cannot attract FDI.
That reminds me, you see,
in an atmosphere of insecurity,
most Nigerians are now asking whether the government is truly committed to ending insecurity. Because what they're thinking is that our government lacks the political will. Imagine other countries like the United Arab Emirates have named some Nigerians as sponsors of terrorism, but the Nigerian government has not been able to name or made any arrest. Nobody has been arrested.
I think
no list has come out to say these are the specific
the separatist groups. I think that's what they're after. They are more concerned with the separatist groups than the bandits,
the Yoruba Nation movement.
Of course, they are more concerned with those ones than the people that threaten
the bandits, the ISWAP and the Boko Haram wreak more havoc than this separatist group. I'm not saying.
I think for me, it is the federal government that has glorified those separatist groups because they failed to handle them.
And they're going to the extent of even naming them as terrorist group.
They popularized them.
Yes.
They made them popular.
But can you imagine, Taka, recently there has been pressure on the federal government to declare bandits terrorist group. The latest one is the Association of the Speakers of the 36 states Houses of Assembly. They came out recently, insisted that they should name bandits terrorists. But the federal government has a different thing to say about it.
Well, George, the issue of because by the time they will finally name them or declare them terrorists, the kind of traction you'll be looking forward to get in the public court of opinion, they will not get it. Nigerians will be disappointed because the bandits have wreaked more havoc, more than enough to be declared terrorists
and dealt with the way they should.
The way they should, long time.
Because
if the federal government continue in this body language, it will leave Nigerians with the impression that they have affinity.
Of course.
Just like so many people have even alleged that there are bandits and terrorists
actor
within the government.
Any non-state actor that picks weapon against the state and against the vulnerable members of the state, that non-state actor is a terrorist group. And should be dealt with accordingly.
Well, that is the much we can take for the big issue of the day. And of course, I will not fail to thank you, Avia, for keeping tab with us out there. And of course, our in-house analysts, Paul and Taka, for doing a very wonderful job here in the studio. Join us same time tomorrow for another edition of the big issue. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.